Chapter 1. Introduction. The Onset of Confinement. Sound: a heavy prison door slams shut, reverberating through the cold, stone corridor of Cedar Ridge Penitentiary. The echo lingers, a symbolic finality marking the arrival of a new inmate. Alex takes a deep breath, the stale air heavy with fear and uncertainty. A former teacher unjustly imprisoned for a crime he didn't commit, he grapples with the weight of his innocence. In his diary, Alex writes about the stark contrast between the freedom he once took for granted and the grim reality surrounding him. The sounds of distant shouts and clanging metal become a haunting backdrop to his thoughts. Through his entries, listeners feel his initial despair, but also a flickering hope, as he clings to memories of laughter and sunlight. This is the beginning of his journey, not just to survive, but to understand who he can become in a world defined by confinement and struggle. Chapter 2. The Weight of Innocence. Alex's Struggle. In this chapter, Alex sits alone in his dimly lit cell, the weight of wrongful conviction pressing heavily on his shoulders. He reflects on the life left behind, students eagerly awaiting his return, family gatherings now marked by absence, and the dreams of teaching that feel like a distant memory. Each diary entry reveals his inner turmoil, a mix of despair and flickering hope. He recalls the courtroom, the damning evidence, and how, in a heartbeat, his world transformed from that of a respected educator to an inmate clad in gray. The harsh reality of life behind bars gnaws at him, but through the fog of hopelessness, Alex finds solace in small moments, a shared smile with Maria across the yard, the sound of laughter echoing in the distance. This fleeting connection reinforces his determination to reclaim his truth and emerge stronger despite the shadows of his confinement. Chapter 3. The Shadows of the Past Confronting Guilt. In the dim light of his cell, Malik's diary entries spill forth like a torrent of regret. A seasoned inmate serving a life sentence for gang-related violence, he contemplates the fragility of choice. "Every decision I made," he writes, echoes hauntingly in the silence of these walls. Through fragmented memories, Malik paints a picture of a young man driven by anger and loyalty, ultimately ensnared by a life of crime. As he speaks to the reader, we hear his voice wavering between remorse and a flicker of hope for redemption, an inkling that change is possible, even behind bars. Through his unexpected friendship with Alex, Malik's reflections deepen. Their conversations create a bond that transcends judgment, inviting both to confront their demons. "In sharing my story," he muses, "I might just reclaim a part of myself that felt lost forever." In this raw exploration of guilt and redemption, Malik's journey underscores the possibility of transformation within the shadows of regret. 4. Navigating New Realities, Rules of the Yard. In the unforgiving landscape of Cedar Ridge, survival hinges on understanding the prison's unwritten rules. Alex's diary reveals his initial disorientation as he and Maria grapple with the complex hierarchies that dictate daily life. The air is thick with tension as inmates navigate alliances and rivalries, each step calculated to avoid conflict. Maria guides Alex through the dynamics of the yard, imparting wisdom gained from her own struggles. They observe the social cliques forming around tables and the unspoken codes that govern interactions. Yet within this harsh environment, moments of humor and camaraderie shine through as they bond over their shared uncertainty. Together, they learn that survival isn't just about avoiding trouble, it's also about forging connections. The sound of laughter mingles with the clanging of metal bars, reminding them that even in confinement, a sense of community can emerge from the shadows, illuminating paths through darkness. Chapter 5. The Outside World, Letters and Longing. Ethan, the tech-savvy inmate, finds solace in the letters he receives from a childhood friend, Sarah, who remains a connection to the outside world. In his diary entries, Ethan reveals the bittersweet blend of hope and despair that these letters evoke. Each envelope carries memories of laughter, freedom, and unresolved dreams, pulling him between the harsh realities of Cedar Ridge and the vibrant life he left behind. As Ethan reads about Sarah's accomplishments and adventures, he grapples with feelings of isolation intensified by the prison's cold walls. However, her unwavering belief in him fuels his motivation to change. He begins to reflect on his mistakes, contemplating the man he wants to become. In his darkest moments, Ethan clings to Sarah's words, using them as a reminder that redemption is possible, even across the miles. and that every letter is a lifeline whispered in the silence of confinement. Chapter 6. Mentorship and Growth. Alex and Malik's Bond. As Alex settles deeper into the rhythms of Cedar Ridge, his path intertwines with Malik, a seasoned inmate whose life echoes with regret. Malik takes Alex under his wing, guiding him through the maze of prison existence. Their conversations resonate with raw honesty, revealing Malik's history of violence and the remorse that plagues him. In a poignant journal entry, Malik reflects, "I can't change the past, but through Alex, I see the man I could have been." Meanwhile, Alex finds strength in Malik's wisdom, realizing that mentorship transcends age and experience. Their bond becomes a lifeline, fostering growth and understanding. In the dim light of their shared space, Alex learns that redemption is a journey, not a destination. Both men, haunted by their pasts, find hope in their friendship, an unbreakable connection that transforms despair into resilience. Together, they challenge the chains that bind them, forging a path of healing amidst the harsh realities of prison life. Chapter 7. Moments of Light, Small Acts of Kindness. In the dimly lit common area of Cedar Ridge, we meet Marisol, an elderly inmate whose laughter and warmth defy the shadows of her past. Serving a lengthy sentence for a crime committed in her youth, Marisol has become a grandmotherly figure among the inmates. Her diary entries recount stories of resilience and kindness, illuminating how small acts can spark hope even in the bleakest of places. One evening, Marisol gathers a group of women for a storytelling session, sharing tales from her childhood, simple joys that once filled her life. As she speaks, the sound of soft chuckles and shared sighs creates an intimate atmosphere, drawing the inmates closer together. Marisol teaches them the importance of compassion, reminding them that even behind bars, they can foster connection and healing. In this chapter, her gentle wisdom shows that light can permeate even the darkest corners of Cedar Ridge, offering solace through shared humanity. Chapter 8. Finding Solace. Routine. In the stark confines of Cedar Ridge Penitentiary, daily routines emerge as lifelines for the inmates. Morning roll call echoes through the stone corridors, signaling the start of another day. For Alex, the monotony is both grounding and suffocating, providing a structure that juxtaposes his yearning for freedom. He finds solace in the predictable rhythm of group meals, yard time, and shared tasks, fostering a sense of camaraderie among inmates. Maria discovers strength in her routine, using her time in the kitchen not just to prepare meals, but to create bonds with fellow inmates through laughter and shared recipes. Meanwhile, Malik writes poetry during the quiet hours, capturing the beauty of resilience amid despair. Together, their reflections illustrate how, in the harsh reality of prison life, the semblance of routine becomes an anchor, a means to cope, and a testament to the unyielding human spirit seeking refuge amidst chaos. Chapter 9. The Outside World, Letters and Longing. Ethan sits in his dimly lit cell, the sound of a distant radio echoing through the bars. He clutches a stack of letters from his childhood friend, Jenna. Each envelope carries a piece of the outside world, the laughter of shared memories, the warmth of autumn leaves, and the mundane joys of life that feel almost surreal behind the prison walls. His diary entries reveal a deep emotional journey, oscillating between hope and despair. He writes of his longing to feel the sun on his skin again, to walk freely without the weight of chains. In one poignant entry, he muses, "These words float like dandelion seeds, drifting in the breeze of my imagination. They remind me that beyond these walls, life still pulses, vibrant and unbroken." As he pens his responses, Ethan grapples with his identity, shaping a fragile connection to a world that feels both familiar and distant. The letters become a lifeline, igniting his desire for redemption and a second chance. Chapter 10. The Breaking Point, Crisis and Resilience. A tense silence envelops Cedar Ridge Penitentiary as an unexpected crisis erupts. The sound of alarms blares through the corridors, signaling a lockdown that sends inmates into a state of heightened alert. Amid the chaos, Alex's diary reflects the raw emotions coursing through the prison: fear, anger, and an overwhelming sense of vulnerability. Inmates who once kept to themselves now find strength in unity, sharing their fears and stories in hushed whispers. Malik takes on a leadership role, urging others to remain calm and support one another. "We are more than our pasts," he encourages, rallying the men around him. The crisis reveals the fragility of their lives, but also ignites a fierce determination to survive. In moments of adversity, unexpected bonds deepen, and hope flickers amidst despair, showcasing the resilience of the human spirit even in the darkest of times. As the lockdown continues, a sense of solidarity begins to blossom. 11. Sound of silence. Lockdown reflections. The sudden clanging of metal doors reverberates through Cedar Ridge, heralding a lockdown that fractures the already fragile atmosphere. In the eerie quiet that follows, inmates find themselves grappling with a mix of fear and uncertainty. Malik's diary entries capture the pulse of anxiety, his poetic words painting a picture of the suffocating walls closing in. In silence, I hear my regrets whisper louder than the screams of my past, he writes, a poignant reminder of his internal struggles. Ethan scribbles about the weight of isolation, each letter sent into the void a plea for connection. Time stretches like shadows, he muses, reflecting on lost conversations and unfulfilled dreams. Meanwhile, Alex contemplates the fragility of mental health within the confines of despair. As the lockdown drags on, the inmates find their voices through writing, their reflections shaping a silent chorus of resilience amid chaos, reminding each other that even in darkness, they are not alone. Chapter 12. Finding Purpose, Art Behind Bars. As the sun sets behind the imposing walls of Cedar Ridge, Taylor uncovers a transformative sanctuary within the confines of her cell, art. With a small set of paints and a makeshift canvas crafted from torn sheets, she begins to channel her experiences into vibrant expressions of color and emotion. Her diary entries resonate with a newfound sense of purpose, detailing how each stroke of her brush becomes a release from the weight of her past. In the echoes of laughter during group art sessions, camaraderie blooms as inmates come together to share their creations and stories. Taylor reflects on the healing power of creativity, noting how art transcends the harsh realities of prison life, forging connections among those often deemed lost. The sounds of chatter, brushes gliding on canvas, and occasional applause create a symphony of resilience, illustrating how beauty can flourish in the bleakest of places, igniting hope for a brighter future. Chapter 13. Voices of the Future, Inmate-Led Initiatives. In a corner of Cedar Ridge, a new movement begins to take shape, one that gives inmates a voice in their rehabilitation journey. Led by Malik and supported by Alex, a series of inmate-led initiatives emerge, focusing on education, vocational training, and personal development. Through diary entries, Malik expresses his passion for teaching fellow inmates valuable skills, believing that knowledge can break the cycles of incarceration. Maria shares her excitement about a new gardening program that allows inmates to cultivate both plants and hope, while Ethan organizes workshops to teach coding and technology, reconnecting them to a world beyond bars. These endeavors not only empower the inmates but foster a sense of community, igniting a shared purpose. The sound of laughter and diligent work rings through the prison, marking a profound shift as these men and women begin to reclaim their narratives and envision brighter futures, daring to dream beyond their pasts.